now we got to talk a little gridiron action upcoming later this year. It's time for another edition of NFL Exotic. So we actually already did that. It's time for another edition of something we actually have a sounder for. So, Brandon, hit me with the 3-point stance.
Ready, set, hike. Brad Evans and Ryan Horvat are lined up in their 3-point stance to blitz through every NFL team on BetMGM Tonight.
All right, tonight, again, the theme is NFC East all week long. We've already covered the Giants. We did the Cowboys last night. By the way, if you miss any of those breakdowns on fantasy football and sports betting, you can always listen to them back via the BetMGM Tonight podcast. Download, subscribe, wherever you get your podcasts, the BetMGM podcast. But tonight, we're going to the nation's capital. We're talking about the Washington Commanders, one of the surprise sensations of the 2024 season. Why? Well, they got a franchise cornerstone quarterback in Jane Daniels. He was sensational last year. Reason why he won Roy Offensive Rookie of the Year. We'll see if he's going to have a sophomore sensational season in the follow-up, or it's going to be more of a sophomore slump. So let's start with him and our fantasy football discussion. Jane Daniels right now, quarterback 3 in ADP, 30.60 overall. And again, half-point PPR formats is what are always our scoring format here on BetMGM Tonight. So again, Jane Daniels, QB3, pick 30.60 ADP. Is he overvalued, undervalued, or properly valued, Horvey?
Properly valued. That's exactly where I would have him. Quarterback 3, right? Now, we'll talk about the team here in a minute. They do bring in Deebo Samuel. Definitely probably outside of his prime, but could have a pretty solid season. You bring in Laramie Tunsil to protect Jaden Daniels. But, I mean, last year, 331 completions, 3,568 yards through the air as a rookie, 25 touchdown passes, and you bring in the rushing yards as well, 891, and he had 6 touchdowns, averaged 6 yards per carry. And the rushing numbers probably only go up this year because if you remember last year, he was playing with that rib injury for multiple weeks. So I think he's properly rated right there, Brad, at quarterback 3. That's where I would have him as well.
Yeah, I got him right there. I mean, if anything, he's going to finish like, QB4, maybe at worst QB5. I don't think he's going to take a really significant step back. Why? Well, he's got the 4th easiest projected overall strength of schedule for a fantasy quarterback. Mike Clay is kind of projected for 3,726 passing yards, 23 passing touchdowns, 10 INTs. But this is where the fantasy value really boosts on the ground. 711 rush yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. They actually got him as his QB1 overall. Now, I don't think it's going to wind up there, but it's certainly on the table. Last season, he was number 5 in adjusted completion percentage, number 29, though, in deep ball completion percentage. Has to improve in that area. Number 11 in red zone completion percentage, and he also averaged 8.7 rush attempts per game. So, yeah, I think the rushing data, that's everything. It's all about the duality with him. He's kind of a modern-day Michael Vick. Similar categories like Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts as well. Those guys that beat you on the ground and through the air. He is properly valued indeed at QB3, 30.60 overall. Well, let's talk about a guy that Daniels will occasionally hand the ball off to, and Brian Robinson. RB29 is the ADP, 113.16. So I ask you again, undervalued, overvalued, or properly valued, Horvey?
I'm going to say he's slightly overvalued. I mean, there's not a whole lot of depth behind him, but Austin Eckler, even at his age, is still going to catch balls out of the backfield. You have Jeremy McNichols, and then you have Merritt, who I don't really worry about. But, you know, last year, 799 yards only on the ground, 8 touchdowns. I like him as a short yardage back or as a goal line guy, but I think he's slightly overvalued, man. And I'd have him probably like closer to 35, 36 on the list.
That's exactly where I have him. I think I got him at RB36 right now at thegamingjuice.com. Have all my rankings available there for free right now, so go check out, again, my website, thegamingjuice.com. But, yeah, RB29, too rich for my blood, man. Clay has him at RB33. And, he's in the similar vicinity. He only got 58.7% of the opportunity share last season. He was, though, number 20 in total red zone touches, but only number 37 in yards created per touch, 22 in yak per attempt, and 33 in missed tackles for us. If you're in a PPR or half-point PPR league, Austin Eckler is probably the more desirable back. You can get at a cheaper price right now in average drafts. So I'm going to be passing on Brian Robinson. Let's go to Scary Terry McLaurin on wide receiver 13, 31.89 is the ADP. And again, half-point PPR leagues, is he overvalued, undervalued, or properly valued, my man?
I'm going to say properly valued, right? I think he's a top 15 receiver, 82 receptions, over 1,000 yards, had 13 touchdowns, which was actually number 2 in the league among all wide receivers. 13.4 yards per reception. We were just waiting, man, for Terry McLaurin finally to have a real quarterback. Last year, he finally got that in Jaden Daniels. So I think his numbers could only continue to go up. So I'll say properly valued.
I'm going to say slightly overvalued at wide receiver 37. Now, I will say this. I don't think Deebo Samuel is DOA by any stretch of the imagination. I still think he's got some gas left in the tank at 29 years young. He does have the 11th easiest projected fantasy strength of schedule for a wide receiver. Clay's got him for 58 catches, 820 through the air, and also 4 receiving touchdowns. Also has him for 116 runs. He's got him a wide receiver 41, so he believes he's a little bit overvalued as well at 37. What is encouraging, he was number 1 in juke rates, according to playerprofiler.com, last season among all eligible wide receivers. He was number 14 in total yak and number 25 in route win rate. So he's a guy that still showing its metrics that he's got a little luster left. So, he's going to have his moments. He'll be, bright and shiny some weeks. Other weeks, he's going to be absolutely dull as a, 100-year-old knife. But I kind of like Deebo. I just don't like him at the wide receiver 37 price. So I'm going to say slightly overvalued, available at 105.03 overall. All right, let's do a little prop stop. Let's go back to Jaden Daniels. The number on rush yards is 725.5, minus 115 on the over, also minus 115 on the under. What say you, Horvey? Over under 725.5 rush yards for Jaden Daniels.
It's such a big number, and I know they want to keep him in the pocket, right, because he is so thin, but, he's not going to stay in the pocket, man. He only knows how to play the game one way, so I could only bet the over. The only concern would be injuries. Does he play all 17 or at least 15 games of the season? But went over this number as a rookie. I think he does it again year 2.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over. I don't think it's going to be that drastic of a difference that he had in year 1, in which was 891 yards on the ground. I still think he's going to be north of 800, so I think this number's way too low at 725.5. The only way he'll fall short of this is that menacing and always lurking injury imp who might snack on his lower appendages, but he did a really good job protecting himself last year. And that could be another sign of more of the same. Let's go with Terry McLaurin. Receiving yards, 975.5, also minus 115 either direction. What say you, over or under?
Yeah, I would lean over, man. I don't know that I want to bet it, but I would only bet the over. I don't know that Deebo Samuel is going to be an 1,000-yard receiver this year, or Luke McCaffrey, or Jalen Lane, or KJ Osborne. So I still think McLaurin's going to get 8 to 10, maybe more targets per game with Jaden Daniels. So I would lean over here.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Last season on 117 targets, 82 receptions, 1,096 receiving yards. Clay's got him at 1,032. Yeah, I think it's going to be around 1,000. This is going to be pretty tight. It's a really well set line in my estimation. The 6.9 targets per game. He was number 7 in total air yards last season. Pretty strong yards per route run at number 29. What was really impressive, it was number 6 in contested catch rate. So he was a guy that was highly reliable in traffic, and he had the 3rd highest quarterback rating when targeted at 133 flat, despite being number 91 in route win percentage. So he wasn't getting a lot of separation. Maybe that's why he was winning in those contested catch situations. But Jaden Daniels was throwing frozen ropes and accurately to him. and he was making plays. So, yeah, it's an over for me, but this is not something I would bet because I don't feel profoundly strong about it in the end. What about the team lean? The over-under right now on team wins at 9.5. Juice to the over at -120 in BetMGM. On the under, even Steven plus 100. Juice, what do you say? 9.5 wins for the Commanders this year.
This one I did bet. You could call me a hater. I went under. I think Dallas might win 9 to 10 games, and I think Philadelphia repeats and wins the division, even though nobody's done that in the East in like 2 decades. It's just the Commanders, 11 of their 12 wins last year came against non-playoff teams. I don't know that they completely fall off a cliff, but I think they actually take a step back. I'm more worried about the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, I think they'll be fine. I think Cliff will be fine. I think Jaden will even get better. But I mean, is Bobby Wagner going to play 15 to 17 games? Even on the offensive side of the ball, like Zach Ertz is back. So I think they finish with 8 or 9. So I would go under.
I'm also going to take the under. I think 8 or 9 is a fair number. They have the 8th hardest overall strength of schedule. They do have a win probability of 50% or greater, according to Mike Clay, in 10 games. I'm not buying it. The offense is going to be sensational, be top 10 again, but that defense could be woeful. Bottom 10, much like they were much of last year, where they finished number 22 in EPA per play D. Give me the under. 9.5 wins at +1.